All right, so let's get into some more images and looking at how things are formed. Take a look at this. What do we see here?
Yes.
Okay, good. What else do we see? Curves. Okay, what do we call those curves? No. What do we call these things?
Really difficult.
Called meanders.
Oh, I did. Neanderthals.
No, not Neanderthals. Meander, not Neander. They're meanders. So anytime a river bends, it's called a meander. Now tell me so much you guys notice. Some other things you guys see. Coleman, I want you to focus on the image here. What are the things that we see?
I see slope
Okay, where?
all over. It's going
Okay.
up and it's going down.
Correct? You mean like hills?
Yeah.
Okay, so we see these gentle hills.
Yep.
Okay. Other things?
Vegetation
Where?
to the outside.
Okay, so we have bushes here. What about over here?
Mountains.
Rocks.
Definitely some large rocks. Okay.
Mountains.
Other things. You guys are really missing the main thing here. What should be jumping out at you? The white. Yeah, what is that white stuff?
Sand.
It's sand. Okay, Corey, I want you to think of this. What is the rest of the image? Don't think we're going to have a snow and it's a whole bunch of grass. All right, now. Sometimes. It could be early February.
Yeah.
Or early March. All right, no, it's definitely sand.
Yeah.
Where is the sand?
By the road.
By the curves.
What do we call those curves?
Meanders.
Meanders. Okay, so they're at the meanders. Specifically, where are they at in the meanders?
In the middle.
In the curved part.
What do you mean the curved part? They're both curves. We got a curve
The
here.
inside of the curve.
Bingo.
I'm sorry.
Guys, write that down. Okay, we call these, okay, the sand, we call those, Mr. Perry. Okay, no. Let's see, we actually call those point bars. Point bar depositions. And think about it, it's a sandbar that's at the point and it's been deposited. So we call them point bar depositions. Okay? Now, Lily, you said it perfectly. Where do we find point bar depositions? On the inside of the curve. Okay. Now, guys, this is really important. We're going to take a long time to talk about this. It's a very long time. Why do we find these on the inside of the curve? Notice, do you see any sand over here on the outside?
No.
No. In fact, notice right here we have another sandbar.
That makes sense.
And there's another slight curve. We got a sandbar there. Okay, so why do we find these on the inside of the curve?
I feel like this is a really easy answer.
It really is.
It kind of looks like
But it's
the
not.
curve, like the cluster one. It kind of looks like it's
Whoa.
going slanted.
Kind of.
I'm gonna buy a lantern.
Okay. Well, guys, let's put it this way. Yesterday we talked about carrying capacity, correct? We touched on it very lightly. So, Ivan, I need you to remind me, what is carrying capacity? Wait, how much what? Okay, rocks and, well, the water is carrying the rocks and the sediments. Okay, and most of those sediments are held in suspension, right? Okay, guys, what determines carrying capacity?
How fast the river's going.
And what do we call that? Velocity. Okay, so the faster the water is moving, the higher its carrying capacity, the more it can carry. If the water slows down, what happens to its carrying capacity? It decreases. So all the stuff that was floating in the river, if the water slows down, what happens to all that material? Stops. Okay, so we're going to go outside and we're going to try something real quick here. Have you guys ever heard of the game Break the Wind?
No.
Sounds nasty.
I would break the wind.
No, not that. I know you guys are thinking, no, this is a different It's a little kid's game. It's kind of cool.
Are we brightening the sound there?
Oh, I was saying.
We travel a little faster around the bend,
Take it.
so we have an increase in carrying capacity.
Start from
In order to satisfy that increase, what does the water then do to that bank? Now that it's able to carry more material, it starts eating away at the bank, trying to get that full capacity. And so, how many of you guys have ever swam in rivers before?
Yeah.
Where do you find the wonderful swimming holes in a river?
In the middle.
Would you find it here?
Probably.
No.
You find it like dead center.
No.
Or it's just going straight.
You're going to find it on the outside of that meander every time. Because as that water comes around that outside bend, it's eroding up this bank. And not only is it eroding horizontally, but it also tends to down cut on that bend. And so you actually get a kind of a deeper hole. We'll see that here in just a second. Now, on the inside of this river, when we go around the inside has to slow down. So when its velocity drops, so does the carrying capacity. So what happens to all those sediments that were held in suspension? Yeah, they fall out of suspension and then they deposit. And that's what we see here. That's the point mark depositions. And guys, that process I just walked us through, that will be a test question. Okay, it'll be an essay. You have to explain to me how point bar depositions are formed. You need to talk about the outside of the curve goes faster and it erodes. The inside of the curve has a shorter distance to go, therefore it slows down, which means we lose carrying capacity and those sediments fall out of suspension. All right, that's what I'm expecting you guys to be able to explain to me. Now, what's interesting here is this is just, to me, a great photo, and I got really lucky when I found it on Google. It's a great photo. There's so much we can take out of stream development. Because when we look at this, not only do we get to see point bar depositions, but we can talk about stream migration. What do you think I mean by that? Are rivers and streams constant? Okay, so what do you think I mean by stream migration? Okay, they travel, but how do they travel? Do they always have the same shape?
No.
Okay, so we can change the shape of our channel, right? Okay? Now, to me, I can see exactly what I want to point out to you guys, but I'm not sure if you're going to see it. I want you to compare this grass right here and this grass.
One's darker than the other.
What does that tell you, Chris? Gabby?
Is there like more sand in that grass?
Ooh, which grass?
The grass.
Oh, so the grass here? Yeah, there's definitely a lot more sand here and a lot less vegetation.
Was it the water?
I feel like it'd be more vegetation.
Did it move over? The answer is yes. Yes, it did. Because what you can see here is a whole series of these point bars that have piled up. And these are basically evidences that the river has moved. What direction is it moving? To the right. Well, think about that. If I am down cutting or eroding on the outside of that bend, oh, wrong one. So if I'm eroding here, that river is just going to keep migrating over. And you can see the same thing here. You can see the original sandbar right here, and then you have the new sandbar. So this meander is moving in that direction, this one's moving in this direction, and so eventually our river will get really, really stretched out. We're going to get something like this. Okay, so you get this really stretched out meanders. Okay, so the rivers do change their courses. Now, while there aren't really great implications to take out of this, if you guys decide to buy a home and, man, I really want riverfront property, I would highly advise you not to buy on the outside of a meander. And why is that?
Come towards your house.
Yeah, not only it's going to come towards your house, but what are you losing every single year?
Land,
You're losing land.
but we saw on the road.
So while this poor guy over here is losing land, whoever owns this property keeps getting land.
Wait,
That's
Okay?
sounds like you own like a certain amount of like square foot or whatever.
Yeah.
So could I own like part of the river if it started going onto my property?
Yes, because typically what they'll do is they will. Sometimes they'll call the river the boundary, and in that case, Spencer, you're locked in, or you're locked into the actual edge of the river. Okay, that'd be your river or your property. Other times, what they'll do is they will say, okay, this comes with property, but what'll happen is they'll say between this post here and this post here, that's your property. So anything inside here is your property.
Okay.
All right. So eventually, this guy might lose out. You know, if that's the way that they draw it up, this guy will lose his water rights to this section of the river, while you will gain those water rights.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of different ways that they can do that. All right. So some more stuff. So that's point bar depositions, guys. When you're driving down the road, this happens not only on a grand scale that we see here, but also happens on a very small scale. As you're going down Coldwater towards Fort Wayne, there are several places where you travel over a small creek or even a river. Anytime, even the drainage ditches, you'll see this, where anytime that there's a bend, you tend to get this little sandbar that juts out right here on the inside. I urge you guys to just, next time you go down to Fort Wayne, take Coldwater, just look out the window and see if you can see these happening.
Fire.
Yeah, okay, yeah.